Good afternoon, everybody. It's Stephen and Paul from WinExtra bringing you your daily brief for November 24th, the day before the American Thanksgiving, when everybody decides they don't want to do dick all.
Yeah, when everybody decides to lose their collective bloody minds as well, if this sort of Google logo debacle is anything to be judged by. For those of you who don't know it, I know this is a Microsoft show, not a Google show, but I couldn't resist talking about this. Steve will put up a picture of the current Google logo, and you'll see at the end that the American flag is covering the E, but the bottom of the E pokes out. And wingnuts who really need to go outside and get a life, get laid, get rid of some of that frustration, pay for it if you have to, are claiming that the end of the E looks like a crescent and is claiming that, you know, basically Google is making Islamic references. And this is becoming quite an uproar. And I'm like, guys,
I'm looking
need
at
some sort of release.
I'm looking at Google.com and all I've got is a straight Google.
Well, it could be because you're up there in Canada, and it's not exactly a Canadian holiday. Let me check it out here, and I'll send it to you. No, I don't actually have it today. Today I've got a Google logo for Thanksgiving recipes, but I will find it and give it to you so you can put it in the show.
Okay.
Right, moving on to Microsoft news. IE9 users, there is a new patch out for IE9 beta. Doesn't do much except give you some nice stability because, as you know, betas and have a habit of crashing. That's why they're betas. So this will bring you a little bit of increased performance and stability in if you are like us trying to use IE9 to get through your day and really run for its money.
I installed the patch and really I only play with it for a little bit. I haven't noticed anything. I know the one thing I do want to check is try using it when I'm crunching video, because prior to this patch, Internet Explorer 9 beta was unusable if I was doing anything that was tasking the CPU. It was just,
well, it'd be interesting to test that, and you can give us a report possibly on Friday's show. Then we won't be around tomorrow, Thanksgiving. Now, Microsoft spending money again. We talked in the weekend show about Microsoft, how they are part of the consortium that is buying up the intellectual property from Novell.
Yeah.
And apparently this consortium, who we as yet don't know a lot of the members of, is spending $450 million to get 882 Novell patents. Now, pretty much everybody has declined to comment on this, so we're not sure what patents they are, and specifically which ones Microsoft hold a right to. A quick look through the U.S. Patent Office database finds 461 patents that have Novell as the assignee name, so where the rest are coming from, I'm not quite sure. But Microsoft's statement on it basically says, you know, they're pleased to be part of the acquisition and they look forward to continuing to work with Novell.
Yeah, the company CPTN they've done a search through even like Delaware, which is where which is I guess Microsoft's home state of Washington, as well. They have not found anything to do with any of the other companies involved in this consortium. Like, we don't know who it is.
More than the consortium, I'm interested in the IP that they've purchased because, as we all know, Novell had a deal with Microsoft to indemnify Linux users who were using Novell brands of Linux against patent infringement and that sort of thing. I wonder if any of that has been scooped up in this or exactly how that breaks down. Again, this is a developing story that we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But it's probably going to be 6 months before we get anything new. Now, China. Microsoft goes to China. Microsoft sues Web Cafe in China for $1.5 million. The Web Cafe was Tonacon. There's a chain of cafes, and apparently they were using over 1,400 PCs with Microsoft software installed, Microsoft Windows, and they had been approached in 2008 by Microsoft. They'd been given the opportunity to take part in a 5-year plan to not be sued, and they rejected it, so Microsoft sued them, and it's pretty much a landmark case for China because it's the first one brought by, you know, a major company like Microsoft against something like an internet cafe, which basically means it's a civil case for copyright infringement based on leased computer software.
Yeah.
And as we discussed a couple of weeks ago, China is rampant with software piracy because basically the government does nothing about it, and companies from, you know, over here in the Western world can't do much about it unless they go to China and sue. And it's estimated that there's $7.6 billion worth of pirated software, most of that being things like Windows, was used in China last year, which is an increase of nearly $1 billion since 2008.
Actually, this may have been the second one because Tom Warren has in the Post. The case follows a similar lawsuit earlier this year where Microsoft took Shanghai-based Dazong Insurance to court, and they were found guilty of using pirated software.
Yeah, but the difference here is that Dazong Insurance were a large major company. This is a chain of internet cafes that is basically just using rented software, which sets a different sort of precedent from a law point of view, which may open the door for many, many more companies to come in and sue many other companies for software infringement. Now, the big news of the day, the only real news of the day, is Silverlight is apparently coming to your Xbox 360 thanks to a recent job advertisement placed by Microsoft. And I'll give you the quote before we start talking about it. Silverlight is looking to hire motivated developers with a passion for creating groundbreaking multi-screen platform experiences, now targeting Xbox. What does this mean, Hudson?
It's apps, like third-party apps, an app store for, basically, the Xbox would become an app store.
Yeah, apps for your Xbox. And you know what? This can't be a bad move, all right? Netflix already has an app on there. Some major third-party companies do have apps on there. But, you know, this is why Silverlight development is still continuing. That's why we're going to get Silverlight 5. That's why we're seeing such interest in Silverlight on things like Linux, which just got hardware acceleration in Moonlight.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the 360 already has a lot of third-party apps. But this would standardize a development platform for the 360, would allow the porting of Windows Phone 7 apps and games quite easily over, and opens up the potential of an Apple-style app store.
Now, 1 second here, too. Another interesting, I'm going to step back to the Moonlight stuff, because I remember when Moonlight first started, it was just after the .NET was hit, and then we started getting the Silverlight stuff. Mono, which is the Linux incarnation of .NET, all right, got the blessing from Microsoft. They gave their approval to it. There was back and forth. So when Moonlight started, the same process started. But here's an interesting thing. Moonlight and Mono are under the auspices of Novell.
Yes, that's true, and Microsoft just bought a whole lot of that IP.
Yeah.
But then again, they would have been under the auspices of Novell. They would have been protected by Novell under the agreement that was in place between Microsoft and Novell. But it's still Microsoft's IP at the end of the day.
Yeah. So this
gets ever more tangled.
Yes. Are we suddenly seeing a legitimate Linux .NET Silverlight platform being developed by Microsoft?
Possibly. And obviously, if it is, that's of great interest to developers. But right now, what's of interest to the consumer, I think, is the idea of a full-fledged app store, a full-fledged developer marketplace for Xbox 360. Imagine what that... I mean, we're seeing an app store coming to the next version of Mac OS.
There was also there's also another post I caught this morning, and I forgot to mark it down, but XNA, which is the programming language for the gaming, is going to be getting Kinect support.
Again, nobody delivers a platform like Microsoft, and you know, we're just seeing more and more ways that they're opening up more and more doors
Yeah.
for people to come in and be involved with the platform, to develop on the platform. And now with the potential of an Xbox App Store, let's be honest, that can be nothing but a money maker.
Yeah.
And good news for consumers. And I think at that, we need to wrap it up for a day because I can't tell how long we've been recording, but I got a funny feeling we're running long.
We're still good, but yes, we should call it a day because everybody's got a turkey to cook or travel to prep for. I know you do anyway. I don't.
I'm traveling for Thanksgiving. Yeah. But, so folks, we'll be back on Friday.
Yes.
So between now and then, enjoy your Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. And if you're not in the U.S., well, just enjoy yourself anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you're not watching it on YouTube, visit youtube.com/WinExtra and hit the subscribe button. You'll find Stephen between now and Friday at WinExtra.com. You'll find me at pauloflaherty.com. And until then, happy Thanksgiving and thanks for watching.
Take care, everybody.